Why I got Darksydephil banned from blip.tv, or why I spoke up and became a hater. 01-15-2011, 3:20 p.m. Post, #1. Banned. Posts, 1. Why I got Darksydephil banned from blip.tv, or why I spoke up and became a hater. While I was not a fan of DSP for a long period of time, the actions DSP has taken since he was laid off in October have left me feeling betrayed, and as a result I feel compelled to give voice to what I feel are Darksydephil's wrongdoings. As this post is being placed on DSP's home turf, I do not anticipate anything resembling a civil discourse, but I implore you to look beyond your knee-jerk reactions and consider my words. Let me first begin by explaining how I came to discover Darksydephil. During January of 2009 I had some free time on my hands, and as a result of discovering Let's Plays, decided to search YouTube to see if anyone had played any games that I was interested in buying, but hadn't gone through the trouble of reading reviews for. Thusly, I stumbled upon DSP's Fallout 3 playthrough. I really enjoyed this playthrough because DSP's reactions in a way mirrored my own when playing video games, and as a whole, were entertaining. This led to me watch more of his playthroughs, and as I continued to follow him and subscribe to his other channels, I began to respect his skill as a game critic. While sometimes DSP's gameplay leaves much to be desired, taking 7 minutes to escape the graveyard in Bayonetta springs to mind. Once he has finished the game, DSP's criticisms and praises are generally spot on, and I have given a lot of games I immediately ignored second chances thanks to his playthroughs. Flash forward to October of 2009 when DSP got laid off. While some of the more salty aspects of DSP's humor occasionally rubbed me the wrong way, I still considered myself a fan, and so the news that he lost his job was heartbreaking. I totally empathized with DSP, and when he announced the AdSense plan, not was I only happy that he would stay on YouTube, but I also resolved to contribute through participation. Because I know how AdSense works, I did not participate on every video, and in the back of my mind I wondered if DSP himself realized that all his viewers clicking on ads all the time would cause issues. Confident that DSP knew what he was doing, after all, he has a business degree, I kept silent and kept participating. Then, December happened and once again DSP seemed in peril. When he announced the blip.tv plan, I was all for it. I don't have any particular affection for YouTube, so changing sites was literally just an issue of changing the URL of my DSP bookmark. Like others, I had serious issues with blip.tv, slow buffering, ads taking forever to load, sometimes the buffer would stop and an ad would play again instead of the video, etc., but I kept silent because I wanted to support DSP and was willing to put up with blip.tv's deficiencies in order to do it. Eventually I started waiting for Phil's longer playthroughs to come to YouTube, and watched the shorter ones at Blip. Because I was out of sync with DSP's schedule, I often watched playthroughs a while after he originally posted them. Now to the meat of my story and the issue you are probably here to read about. When the anti-fan movement first appeared on YouTube in the comments of DSP update videos, I was generally apathetic. I read the posts because I was interested in what they were saying, but generally didn't put any stock into what they said. The videos were good for a laugh, and the back and forth between fans and anti-fans made for an interesting comments section. One day I stumbled upon a video where they claimed that DSP was violating the terms and conditions of Blip TV. Amused, I actually went over to the T&C section of Blip and read through all the legalese. Other than the gameplay footage, which has been an issue of contention with DSP's videos, there was nothing that suggested that Phil was doing anything wrong, and so reaffirmed, I went to the episode archive to see what new things had been posted. There, I found the Dead Space demo playthrough. When I saw this I was immediately psyched because I was interested in the demo, but currently can't play it. Pleased that it was only 4 videos long, I began watching. Around the second part of the third video I became uncomfortable with what DSP was saying. I am well aware that DSP's humor can be salty at times, but I felt that it was very quickly going from in good fun to seriously offensive. It wasn't until part 4 that I snapped. While I myself am not Jewish, I know a number of Jewish people, one of whom was the daughter of a concentration camp survivor. Hearing this woman tell me her parents' story of escaping the death camps was one of the most chilling experiences of my life, and as such, discussion of the concentration camps tends to strike a nerve. Phil's exclamation of "turn the ovens on" immediately erased any goodwill I had for him. When I read the comments section and saw that not only were condemnations few and far between but that people were agreeing with the statements made, I resolved to do something. Very familiar with the "mark trolls as spam" ethos, I realized that complaining in the comments would not accomplish anything. Then I realized that I was now intimately familiar with the terms and conditions and I had the perfect resolution. Phil's tirade was essentially hate speech, something that is clearly outlined as a no-no. Armed with exact quotes from both the video and the T&C, I clicked the "tattle" button and sent off the following missive. This video is highly inappropriate because it consists of the user Darksydephil making horribly racist remarks and passively simulating the murder of people of Jewish descent. Throughout the video, user Darksydephil makes a number of comments making light of Nazi atrocities and repeatedly voices a number of offensive stereotypes against those of Jewish descent. Some of the statements this user makes are "Isaac Himmler, that's my name," 2:51 into the video, and "turn the ovens on." 3:30 into the video. One example of hateful speech that I am complaining about begins at 0:28 when the user Darksydephil shoots a monster, and once he has killed the monster he walks over to stomp it repeatedly, and remarks, "This is what happens when you let the Jews do whatever they want. You've let the Jews overrun space and now you get this. Their greed has had the artifact turn everyone into necromorphs, so now I, the last remaining Nazi, must exterminate them. Hello Jew. I killed him with one shot." Damn, while I am not of Jewish descent I found this horribly offensive, especially since the implication is very clear that the avatar in this video is meant to represent a Nazi soldier and the necromorphs are stand-ins for Jewish people. I feel that it clearly violates an aspect of your terms of use, specifically the prohibited content bullet point that reads, "content that is or may be deemed to be grossly offensive to the online community, including but not limited to, blatant expressions of bigotry, prejudice, racism, hatred and profanity." These statements are nothing but blatant expressions of racism and hatred, and I feel that this video should be removed. Thank you for your time. While sending the letter made me feel somewhat better, part of me felt like I wasn't accomplishing anything. I reported the video on Monday, and by Tuesday I still hadn't even received a "thank you for your concern" boilerplate email indicating someone had at least received it. It wasn't until DSP's frantic video about bad news, and the subsequent "The Truth About Blip" video that I realized that not only had I gotten the video removed but I had gotten DSP removed as well. At this point you can feel free to doubt my story, but the fact that I reported part 4 and that is the part that Eric at Blip referenced is too much of a correlation to be coincidence. Let me conclude by saying I am now officially a hater. After the video on Blip, I went back and impartially looked at the evidence that the R.I.P fans presented. That combined with my own research has led me to develop an opinion of DSP completely divorced from the persona he projects. I quickly realized that since being laid off, Phil's focus has centered on money-making schemes and the fans are only considered when he needs something. If you honestly look at his behavior you can see how both the AdSense and blip.tv situations were of his own creation. He didn't read / care about the T&C of the services, and assumes that he should get second chances. In addition, I have noticed a pattern of Phil attempting to use guilt trips, intimidation, and general coercion to force the fans to behave as he wants. Phil also has an interesting idea of what the truth is and is constantly rewriting history. The gameplay will stay on YouTube issue comes to mind, in order to present himself in a positive light. While I have no feelings of malice towards Phil, I really want him to find a decent job and I totally support him continuing his hobby. I can no longer stay silent and watch as DSP continues to exploit his fans for fun and profit. Some of you seem completely blinded to just how shady Phil is, and I know that I cannot change your minds. Unfortunately, you will just have to learn the same way I did. I address this final statement to those of you that are able to criticize DSP honestly: stop being silent. The longer you let Phil get away with his behavior, the bigger his ego will get. If enough people say, "Screw you, I'm done, he'll be forced to examine his behavior closely and make more responsible decisions. Continuing to donate money and support him by giving him views just reinforces his behavior and sends the signal that there is nothing wrong. Phil is far from the only 28-year-old that has found themselves laid off from their jobs and in financial straits, but instead of sucking up his pride and taking a crappy job and moving back in with his parents, he has decided to panhandle his fanbase. The relationship that DSP has with the fans is now totally based on money, and I fail to see how such a situation can end anyway but badly. Save your pennies for your personal rainy days ahead and force Phil to be accountable for himself. As we have seen with the banks worldwide, all bailouts do is cause the source of the problem to stay on the same destructive path. Phil is not too big to fail, and maybe a lack of safety net will finally force him to think beyond the next money-making scheme. We are never deceived, we deceive ourselves. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. R.I.P. Why I got Darksydephil banned from blip.tv, or why I spoke up and became a hater. Why that was a sucka long MSG and GRSS. What people won't care what you got to say, and your dumb MSG shall soon be delayed and you will be banned. Thank you and have a nice day, and please grow up and get over history. It was just a joke, okay, so get over it, okay. R.I.P. Why I got Darksydephil banned from blip.tv, or why I spoke up and became a hater. I actually read this, which is surprising because I usually just write TL, DR, and move on. Although, the above me is true. It was a harmless joke. R.I.P. Why I got Darksydephil banned from blip.tv, or why I spoke up and became a hater. So what, do you want a medal or something? Do you actually expect people, think about this for a moment, actual people, who willingly signed up to the forum mainly because they support Phil, to actually join your stupid rant/hating crap? Do you think people are going to care that you found a joke offensive? Congratulations, you are one of the many thousands of people who make it their life task to ruin people online. Give yourself a pat on the back. R.I.P. Why I got Darksydephil banned from blip.tv, or why I spoke up and became a hater. And nothing of value was lost. R.I.P. Why I got Darksydephil banned from blip.tv, or why I spoke up and became a hater. Cool story, bro. R.I.P. Why I got Darksydephil banned from blip.tv, or why I spoke up and became a hater. First off, I never read through a complete troll message. But I did with this one. And I must say that you are being awfully easily persuaded. I don't blame you for being offended by some of the shit Phil says. But you have to keep in mind that he is just who he is. And if you disagree, or dislike anything he says, just don't watch him. Don't try to throw a monkey-wrench into his life by trying to boycott him in any way. He is trying to live his life on his own way. If that creates haters, that's his own fault. If he falls down on his ass and ends up being completely fucked, that's his problem. I'm one of the bigger fans of Phil, and obviously, I don't want Phil's life to become this bad. So I donate, consistently. I really don't care about what other people think of Phil, as long as he entertains me. I am willing to donate to him so he can keep doing what he does. When he says something I am offended by, which has happened on more than several occasions, I just stop watching his videos for a while and halt my donations. If he upsets me so much that I am completely disgusted by his behavior, like you are, I just stop following him altogether. Making posts like this and voicing your opinion on Phil's personal forum is just a way of saying, I think Phil is a jerk, and you should all stop supporting what he's doing. Ask yourself the following question. Who are you to decide what anyone has to do with their life? And as for the Jewish discrimination, it's obviously satire. Asian Name Guy wrote, one example of hateful speech that I am complaining about begins at 0:28 when the user Darksydephil shoots a monster, and once he has killed the monster he walks over to stomp it repeatedly, and remarks, this is what happens when you let the Jews do whatever they want. You've let the Jews overrun space and now you get this. Their greed has had the artifact turn everyone into necromorphs, so now I, the last remaining Nazi, must exterminate them. Hello Jew. I killed him with one shot, damn. Phil is basically trying to project how he thinks the Nazis would have felt if they were still alive right now. It's projecting a horrible past onto a scenario of a video game in the future. Sure, it may be offensive to certain people. But Phil isn't trying to be offensive. If anything, he is making ignorant people aware of how Nazi Germany was behaving throughout history. There are, believe it or not, a lot of people out there that have no idea that the Nazis gathered up and executed thousands of Jews in cold blood. I think that what Phil was saying in this part of the video merely projected his feelings about Nazi Germany in the form of satire. Despite it being offensive to a certain group of people, it is still satire. If you can't stand it, don't watch it. There are many movies out there that do the same thing. I'll name a few: M*********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** it's a satire about the Nazis, Catch-22, satire about World War II. I'm just saying that just because you are offended by one thing Phil said, doesn't mean he is a bad person. People make mistakes, and some realize those mistakes sooner than others. People are also often mistaken about things they think are a mistake. You can think that Phil is doing this and that, while it is not his intention. To be brutally honest, I think you're very gullible. Just because you have been offended by something, you started digging, finding reasons to confirm your hatred. You were caught by trolls and haters at a bad time. In fact, you went looking for them. I hope you will do one of two things after reading my post. 1. Leave these forums, stop watching Phil's videos, and continue with your life. Doing your job, hanging out with your friends and family, or whatever you do in your life. 2. Realize that you could potentially be wrong, and continue to support Phil despite his bigotry and racism. If you had actually gotten to know Phil for the person he is off camera, you would have felt otherwise, I'm sure. And one last thing. Out of all the haters out there, I respect you the most. Why I got Darksydephil banned from blip.tv, or why I spoke up and became a hater. This dude signed up here so he can rant about Phil, wow. It was a joke, so get over it. Why I got Darksydephil banned from blip.tv, or why I spoke up and became a hater. I fell asleep halfway through. Why I got Darksydephil banned from blip.tv, or why I spoke up and became a hater. I read the first 3 sentences and stopped reading.